Hi guys, Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. Sometimes it pays to get all your gear out and look at it and think, what do I really want? What do I really need? Often the two aren't closely aligned. So back in the 1980s I drove completely around Australia with a big gym torch, those who can remember those, and a little work lamp that uses a car tail light bulb, and it's still working today. Today I've just laid out all my 12 volt gear, and I've got 100 kilos worth of 12 volt stuff if I include the weight of the fridge. So a big adult male in 12 volt stuff, and I really don't need much more than I had in the 1980s. Most of the time I use a cooler. So this battery box I've got at 100 amp hours in AGM is more than enough. Okay. So I've tweaked this battery box and put my own DC to DC charger on it. We'll have a bit of a better look. And then my previous vehicle, the battery was under the bonnet, or the hood if you want. And in the tray there was just a single Anderson plug sticking out. So to connect to it with the fridge in the back, I had to put in double adapters and stuff like that. All of that I don't really need. If I've got this battery box, a lot of that other stuff is superfluous, and we'll go through it all and see how much I really need. I'm pretty sure I can save probably 30 kilos. So this is a National Lunar battery box that I've tweaked. So it comes with a bunch of spare plugs, which I've filled now, and I've added a Engel fridge socket for the Engel fridges, which I've got two of. I've put a USB A and C. This one you can turn off, which is nice. This is the one it comes with, which is two USB A's, and the second one of the same type. So in here I've got 4 USB A's and 4 USB C's, because I've got a bit of gear from Olight that it can recharge. And on the bottom I've got two Merit or Hella type sockets. So this one here is the LED light, which is mounted in the back of my troop carrier. So that's plenty of work light. So I've got one spare. This is a charging point. I've got 3 grey Anderson plugs built into this box and 1 red one. They're all live constantly. So it's got this breaker which knocks it all off, and they're all individually fused. So to the rear of that box I've got the DC to DC charger with a solar input. So the solar plugs aren't just a different colour, they are slightly different. So what I've done, I've made an adapter which I can swap from the two, and we'll have a look at the rest of the stuff I've got. So this is a very simple solar regulator. Now I've painted one end, but I need to change the plug. So if something went wrong with the DC to DC charger on this, being an AGM battery, I can connect it directly to the crank battery on the car and just disconnect it via one of the Anderson plugs. So if I want to use the solar, this would do the job. Now I've got an MPT, which is a better controller but chunkier, and if it's going to be just a spare part, this will do the job just fine. So previously I only had one outlet in the back. This multiple Anderson plug, probably don't need it anymore. So I've got this watt meter. It's a really handy bit of gear to have so that you can see what your solar is doing or what your fridge is drawing if you think there's a problem. I've got one Hella lead. There again, I probably don't need this now. So that will run either my camp LED strip lights or my fluoro lamp. There again, probably a bit superfluous. I had 2 leads of 10 meters each and 6.6mm twin sheath. If you're going to make a lead up, make a good one up, guys. So if I'm using my solar blanket, I'm probably not using my camp leads, so I probably don't need 2 of those. 110's enough. So in here I've got a second blue tongue compressor. I have one mounted inside the vehicle, exactly the same pump, and that's 4.8 kilos. But being able to reinflate your tyres, especially if you're overlanding, is so important I think that's gonna stay. So it's always good to have two pumps, especially one like this is portable. So I've been on enough trips where I've seen a lot of the ARB twin pumps go down, and this has never gone down. It's not as fast, but both of those have been doing 130 years service, and I think this one about 20. So in this bag here I've got another work lamp. I've got a drill that I converted to run off a car battery. Nice to have. Lots of double adapters. With the amount of plugs I've got on this box, I really don't need all of that. And that bag alone weighs 10 kilos. So this here is an early hardcore LED lamp. It's really bright. Only does one colour, just white. There's no dimming or anything available on it. But if you want to cook a meal, it's a great kitchen lamp. Right, at the back I've got two solar blankets. The green one on top, Uni Solar, that was about $1,000 odd in 2000 for a 30-watt panel. That weighs 2.3 kilos. Below it is the Red Arc 115 watt amorphous blanket. Great blanket, by the way. It's 5 kilos. And I had some double adapters made up so I could join the two of them together. In actual fact, I never needed to do it. That 115 watt panel kept up with my cartridge, no problems at all. So 100 kilos worth of 12 volt stuff. It's really over the top, and it's not an over the top vehicle. It really is not. So what do I want? Enough battery power to run a fridge should I use it. Most of the time I use a cooler. Bit of camp lighting, charger phones, camera equipment. I don't have a drone. So I've got all these ports on the front of the battery pack. I can do without a lot of this stuff. So this is my plan, guys. I'm going to see how much I can drop off and simplify my whole setup. Right guys, this is what I've come up with. So one solar blanket, one lead with the solar plugs on. Now if I plug this lead directly into the box, I can also remove the short cable I keep on it because it's just easier when I back it in the driveway at home. I've got an old solar panel on the roof. So Goal Zero lantern, portable, can charge a phone off a USB-A if you need to. Simple headlamp, AAA batteries. I've got another light lantern here, this Perm 3. This is a really powerful lantern, and it comes with its own charging cable, so I can utilize the charging docks. I've got their classic lantern. This can also charge off the same connector or a USB-C cable, much faster. Brilliant little camp lantern. I'm keeping the simple solar regulator in case the DC to DC goes down. I'm going to have two solar to regular Andersons. I've got one over there, need another plug for this one, and 1 watt meter. So a fair old saving on weight and space. So my 100 kilo cartridge combo comes down to an 80 kilo one. Still an awful lot, when in reality for a weekend trip I just need a cooler and a lantern there, maybe a headlamp or just a headlamp. So I think that's a pretty good compromise, guys. So don't forget to get out and look at the systems that you're running. Otherwise over time it'll just grow and you'll have more and more redundant stuff that you probably don't really need. Anyway guys, if this type of content helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Mum said dogs aren't allowed to have cookies.